Hello to you all. Thanks for joining us on our live this morning. And of course, we would say thank God it's Friday. And the feeling of Friday is everywhere in the studio. Mariam is all ready for the Friday.
Yes, I'm all ready for the Friday. Friday is majorly and basically an introduction into the weekend. So let's know what we are having for our Saturday Owambe. Are we ready? So you should look Owambe so that people will know that yes, you are a pure Nigerian, and especially when you have the Hausa tribe, the Igbo tribe, the Yoruba tribe that has the Yoruba devil. There, you will know where I am.
So you're admitting to the fact that we have Yoruba devils.
Yoruba white devils.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we'll be going straight to the paper review this morning, and we will be starting from the Vanguard newspaper. And the window story here says FJSC case 22 justices for elevation to Supreme Court, and that you will see on page 8. And on fireworks as stakeholders interrogate national security threat to elections, media reforms, and that you will also see on page 8. When you come to page 13, you will see appeal court declares Zamfara governorship election inconclusive. And we have capital importation to manufacturing sector rises to 88.2% to $861 million. And we have the bold headline saying, why kidnapping has replaced armed robbery, NSA. And we have some sub headlines here. We have Senate summons NSA service chiefs over insecurity. We also have Reps Fumes turn back service chiefs, IGP representatives over a debate on security challenges. We also have bandits abduct Kaduna district head as soldiers ambush armed supplier. We also have gunmen kill abducted priest after collecting 1 million naira ransom in Kogi. And we have Nigeria Medical Association threatening strike over kidnap of 10 doctors in Enugu. And we also have, we can't continue borrowing to fund Nigeria's budget, coming from Wale Edun. And on page 9, we've seized 45 billion naira. Identified terrorist financiers. That's from the federal government. Also, we have on page 12, CSOs to Tinubu cancel recent civil service promotion examination. And in sports, that's on page 38, we have World Cup qualifier. We have Sloppy Super Eagles survive rampaging Lesotho in Uyo. And that is all I have on the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
So Tante, on the Guardian newspaper this morning, the conscience that is nurtured by truth. I love to say that. The big stories is on the page 4 and of course page part 5 of the Guardian newspaper, and it is the headline has it that from recreation to chronic diseases, poverty, Alsace alcoholic drinks breed alcoholism towards national development. Remember, we celebrated the World COPD Day on Wednesday, where we, of course, created awareness about chronic diseases that emanates from problems of the lungs. But it is so unfortunate that this generation really appreciates being high, staying high, abusing drugs and all of those things. So on the window story, we have service shutdown imminent as United States dollar that's its 200 billion naira, and that's on the page 20 of the Guardian newspaper. It's of course a business story. 2 commissioners abstain as Ondo ESCO passes vote of confidence on Akeredolu, page 28 of the Guardian newspaper. MTF FSP, Nigeria can't rely on borrowing, must raise revenues to fund 2024 budget. says Wale Edun. That's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Insecurity. Buhari ended tough period to Tinubu. Ribadu laments. And that brings me to the fact that you said this morning that we are just seeing no Ribadu on all the headlines. It's making rounds, on social media and the traditional media generally. And that's on the page 6. I think he's carrying out his responsibility very, very well. He's trying to tell us that I'm not just there, I'm working. And FJSC nominates 22 justices for elevation to Supreme Court. That's on the page 6 of the Guardian. Appeal Court sacks Zamfara governor. Others return in rerun in 3 local government areas, and that's on the page 3. Not too much story on the Guardian newspaper this morning, just a display of alcohol and some things that we call maybe enjoyment in the world now.
Well, on the Nigerian Tribune, we have on the window story here saying why we are against borrowing to finance 2024 budget, and that is coming from the Finance Ministry, and that you will see on page 5 of Tribune. And we have South, East, and North Central get 3 new Supreme Court justices each, and that you will see on page 10. And we also have the bold headline here saying anxiety in Kano Plateau as court orders rerun in Zamfara. 3 local governments affected, and that you will see on page 8. We have splinter group emerges in Edo PDP, and that is on page 12. And we also have on page 5, reps turn back representatives in service chiefs must appear. And we have on page 10, Ocean Governor suspends Chief Judge, appoint Afolabi to act. And when you come to page 26, you see 322 bodies not discovered in grave site in Anambra. Truth Commission. What really happened to the bodies? Well, we have on page, still on page 26, we have 80-year-old woman dies in Lagos building collapse, and that happened yesterday. May her soul rest in peace. And we also have 60-year-old retired banker makes first class, wins 8 awards at UI convocation, and that you see on page 10. When talking about insecurity in Nigeria, we inherited tough period, says Ribadu at editors conference, and that is on page 12. And on page 13, we have Sultan commends Makinde on new Adogba Central Mosque building in Oyo, which was built by the Oyo governor, and the Sultan of Sokoto is commending him for the good work. That is all I have on the Nigerian Tribune this morning.
Interestingly, on the Nation's newspaper, I have a story of Adeleke. Remember that Adeleke has been trending from Tuesday when he refused to shake hands with the Oni of Ife, and netizens have been saying that that's so rude of Governor Adeleke. Now again he's making a headline where he finally suspends the Chief Justice despite court's order. And that's on the page 5 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Federal government can't rely on loans to fund 2024 budget, says a minister. That's on the page 5 of the Nation newspaper. Ribadu, government win battle against oil theft and banditry. Remember that we got a message from the naval officers saying they nabbed or apprehended some let me call them bandits, people disturbing the oil sector. And oil production has risen to 1.7 BPD. Senate invites service chiefs for briefing. Academic senior lawyers snubbed in South Court Justices nomination. Academic senior lawyers snubbed in Supreme Court Justices nomination. And I have 31 EXCO members pass confidence vote in Akeredolu. 2 commissioners abstain Return to Akure now, group tells governor. This is a long drama, and we hope that we are live to see the end result. 2023 poll, why INEC experienced internal sabotage. Sultan hails Makinde for building mosque in Ibadan. That's not a story. It's not a new thing actually, but I know because he's a governor, he's making rounds. Page 27 of the Nation newspaper this morning.
All right, and we have on the Punch newspaper this morning the bold headline says, "Be patient, inherited crisis won't disappear overnight," and that is coming from Ribado. And under it, we have some sub-stories. NSA appeals to Nigerians, says Tinubu inherited poor economy, insecurity, and we also have exposed deficit inherited from Buhari, be transparent, OB challenges federal government. And we have the window story here saying, on Forex, federal government blames low export earnings, plans diversification, and that is on page 26, on page 36, or rather page 26, and on page 22 we have banks USSD debt to telcos hit 200 billion naira. And we have on page 8, Senate Summons Service Chiefs demand security regime. And that is on page 8, as I've said. And coming to page 27, we have PSC, NPF consider 65 years as police retirement age. And we have on page 5, 80-year-old woman dies in Lagos building collapse. And then talking about Guinea-Bissau at 50, Tinubu pledges support for West Africa's democracy. And that you will see on page 42. And then still on page 42, Osun Assembly suspends Chief Judge, Adeleke appoint replacement. And I think, Mariam, this is all I have on the Punch newspaper. We go straight to the Business Day newspaper.
So on the Business Day newspaper, I have the banner headline as soaring prices leave Nigerians caught between food and medicine. That's, talking about the inflation at every corner, in Nigeria. Despite the hardship and economic instability we now experience in Nigeria. We have also something to corroborate that. We have Netflix subscriber numbers reflect Nigeria's economic struggles. Have you subscribed recently? Subscribing 4,200, 4,400, is making them feel that truly there is hardship in the land.
And I think some Nigerians are trying to be more responsible this time around.
Okay.
Because of the hardship, at least they're learning lessons, Sometimes, they said it, I think I don't know the number we are now talking about usage of the internet now.
Yeah.
And we keep saying that there is hardship. But
I know that we are among the first 10, if not the first 5. But talking about the Netflix, analysis, I feel that for South Africans to let go of DSTV, why can't we just let go of every other platforms, that we watch or subscribe to, just to, satisfy our viewing pleasure? Let's go on before we take a whole lot of time on that. Naira falls 9.8% in 3 months on single foreign exchange regime. And we have 500,000 South African subscribers. Kiss DSTV, goodbye. You need to see the tariff. The rate is so high. Doing the normal bouquet 4,000 plus, 5,000 plus. My bouquet is even 10,000 plus. So I sometimes I feel like, why will you have to pay 10,000 plus when you're not even watching? But you just have to pay and feel that okay, I'm a proper Nigerian. There are some monies that you should avoid spending. Instead, you can do away with all of these subscription plans and all. And finally, we have Business Day publisher gets financial markets infrastructure groups personality of the decade award. Congratulations to him. He's doing real good because the Business Day newspaper is a very unique newspaper. For you to do a collation of figures, it has to be something factual, something serious, something that you should be all committed to. So I'm saying congratulations once again. So, and that's all we have on the newspaper review this morning.
Yeah, and this is all we have actually on the newspaper review. We'll be going for a short break, and when we come back, we go straight into our discussion for the day. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome to Live News. The immediate past Minister of Youth and Sports Development Chief Sunday Dare, the federal government of Nigeria has taken punitive action against the secretariat. Nigerians have expressed fear over the possible shutdown of businesses and job losses.
See, things are just going higher every day.
For the fact that going from here to Ombalin day before was at 300, but now is at the high side of 700, 800.
The subsidy costs us trillions of naira yearly. Such as a vast sum of money will have been better spent on public transportation, health care, school, housing, and even national security.
Rush to go now.
See, I dey go my sister house so. Now their baby, her pikin just dey cry all the time. Now so they cry, the pikin dey cry. Day before yesterday, the same thing. Yesterday they call me. Today they don't call me again. I don't tire.
The pikin dey sick.
I don't know. It just they cry, one strong cry like this.
If it be say the child need to go for genotype test too.
Genotype test? Which one be that?
Genotype test. The one where they go take his blood sample, they go come test time if he gets AA,
okay,
AS, or even SS.
That one sound like something wey go expensive. Oh, man, I don't get money.
Titus, calm down. Now free of charge.
Free of charge? I beg, where if you do this test?
If you're ready now, just walk into any primary health center. Ask them, say you want to do test, genotype test, they go do one for you.
My sister, thank you so much. I'm grateful.
Come on. The child only 6 weeks.
Now 4 weeks this child be.
Okay. Make sure not do one before 6 weeks.
Before 6 weeks?
Yes, 0 to before 6 weeks.
0 to 6 weeks.
Free of charge.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. God will bless you for me. Thank you. Okay.
This message now from the Center of Excellence for Sickle Cell Disease Research and Training, University of Abuja and Novartis.
All right, welcome back. Going straight to our discussion for today, we'll be looking at the wavering nature of the Nigeria's economy. And we have someone in the studio with us right now. He is Mr. Olokoba Razak. He is a public political affairs analyst. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us again in the studio.
Thank you.
We really appreciate your presence. Miriam?
Yes, talking about the wavering nature of the Nigerian economy, we know that despite having the largest economy and population in Africa, Nigeria offers limited opportunities to most of its citizens. A Nigerian born in 2020 was expected or is expected to be a future worker 36% as productive as they could have been if they had full access to education and health. The seventh lowest human capital index in the world, the weak job creation and entrepreneurial prospects stifle the absorption of the 3.5 million Nigerians entering the labor force every year, and many workers choose to immigrate in search of better opportunities. The poverty rate is expected to reach 37% in 2023 as projected, with an estimated 84 million Nigerians living below the poverty line, the world's second largest poor population after India. Spatial inequality continues to be large, with the best performing regions of Nigeria comparing favorably to upper middle income countries, while the worst performing states fare below the average for low income. In most areas of Nigeria, state capacity is low, service delivery is limited, and insecurity and violence are widespread. Wide infrastructure gaps, constraints, access to electricity, and all of this hinders the domestic and economic integration that would have allowed the country to leverage its large market size. Emerging problems such as the increased severity and frequency of extreme weather events, especially in the northern parts of the country, add to these long-standing development challenges. So the recent reforms offer a launching pad to a new social compact for Nigeria's development. The question is, how do we navigate the wavering nature of Nigeria's economy?
Well, thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
We have to prepare our mind with certain realities, which is that more than half of the political class only know how to win an election, and they devote their time acquiring knowledge on how to win an election and not governance. And that's a big challenge, and that is why every Nigerian should feel bothered about our call for INEC to compare all political parties to organize training on how to govern. The president, governor, senators, chairman, it's important. If you choose not to pay attention to it, we will always be in the issue. But Nigerians don't want to devote time to that. They want quick results. And that brings us to the wavering nature of the Nigerian economy. And we should be blamed for it.
We all.
All of us should be blamed for it. If a doctor tells you that a wound may heal in 2 weeks' time, and a politician came around, which is always the case, Nigerians choose not to listen to experts. They listen oftentimes to political class on all issues, even issues that are non-political. What we are talking is our economy. The political class in Nigeria are not an authority on political economy. They are just political class who knows how to win an election. So, when a political class that tell you that a wound that a doctor has told you already is going to heal in 2 weeks, so it's going to heal tomorrow, then tomorrow comes, you now start blaming the doctor. In Nigeria, we should be prepared. This is going to go soon. That's the reality. But the hardship is not going to go soon. For me, the gestation period is 2 years. There's no way you are going to look at it that a political class will tell you that there's a quick fix. And you believe him. See, at times, it might be genuinely out of desperation to make Nigerians happy. That gives them that situation to make such promises. At times, it might be deliberate. So, we should realize that the responsibility of ascertaining your condition is not left to only the people who are presiding over us. You can also assess the situation on your own and come to conclusion. And for all, as a chartered public administrator, a political scientist, and a fellow of Nigerian Institute of Management, we have had extensive academic exercise on this matter, and nobody will come to the conclusion that now is the time for us to start seeing the dividends of Tinubu's government. Nobody will tell you as an expert in economics, because it's a sequence. The blame for the government is that they did not tell us that the window for experimentation is going to take us 2 years. And it's not late. It's not late for us to get down to the reality that we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel next month. This is December, mid next year. It's affecting all of us. My car broke down. I have a bigger car that consumes. So I was going with public bus for 4 weeks until I moved to fix the smaller car that didn't consume much fuel. I don't know the last time I've touched my SUV. I don't know. Maybe even before the fuel is telling us the story. Long before now. So me, I braced up for it. So if the government and the political class, all the political class should be blamed for it. Both the APC, the PDP, the Labour and all major parties for using Nigerians to play politics. In the sense that the reality, because when you see, look at the debate in the rest of the world, they don't promise quick fix. In their debate, they bring down to a chart that for my government, the universal challenge we have all over the world pushed us to where we are today. They will tell their people that the challenge in the world today got us to this point. It's not the fault of the government there today. But the fault of the government is that the application is wrong. For me, if I get there, this is the chart. And they will be truthful that in 18 months we are going to come out of it. Listen to that debate, the debate in Kenya, in Ghana, in the US, in Britain, in everywhere. Look at their debate. There's always, but it's only here that you say that when I get there,
3 months.
the snowball tells me that you start smiling the next day. So let's look at how to survive now. How to survive now is to get the reality into ourselves. That for us to begin to see a ray of hope at all, and that's if the government is doing the right thing. It's not 2024, it's 2025 upward. Let anybody come and debate it with me. That the policy we are experimenting now, all the reform, is experimentation. And when you are experimenting, you tell the person that these are possibilities. It might come out this way, might come out this way. And Nigerians should also build barricade around that reforms that he must succeed. Barricade in the sense that they say for Adawa to get strong, we are not going to import again. Then we punch on the government, they are banning importation of this. Are we serious? The situation in finance is not a joke. We pretend as if the problem in Nigeria is a minor. It's not a minor problem. The country is very close to collapse now. Not the fault of Tinubu, even not the fault of Buhari, but because as a people we have been careless with our government. We didn't supervise them properly. So prepare your mind as Nigerians. No quick fix. I will have loved to say that it's going to be Eldorado tomorrow. But I can't say that. I've been saying this long before Tinubu become the president that I want him to be there. But bear in mind, no one hold me responsible if things are not getting better in a few months' time. It's going to be so for us. Let's brace up. That it's not going to be an immediate thing. It's all of our issue together. So if I say this because you are enjoying and say which enjoyment are you talking about? That I'm looking at my fuel gauge all the time. As if the fuel is out. My wife threatens me that you don't give me fuel money, I will not go and pick your children in school today. Before I leave the house. And that's the truth. That's the pattern in almost all the houses today. That's the pattern. So it's always about fuel movement. So for us to find ourselves in this kind of situation, let's understand that what didn't work during Obasanjo didn't work during Jonathan, but it can't work now. And for us to have a new template, they must look at it very well. So one other thing that we must also be very careful not to pay attention to is the economic model, which is where we need to come to the nitty-gritty, because we say 2 years. If this one is going to heal in 2 weeks, that's if you don't puncture it again. If you don't get careless with it again, if you don't do what the doctors should not do again, if you don't do certain things again, maybe 2 years, there should be a total and complete ban on importation of essential things that we can produce in Nigeria. Now people would then ask the question, now so how do you survive? We are passing through an historical process. There are countries in the world that pass through that process. We should be penalized. We will be penalized for allowing the country to get to this point. They say we are powerless, and go and read that book, The Power of the Powerless. The power of the powerless is for you to be organized and united. People who became power and get to government today became organized. So the powerless people should be organized and united. When the people become organized, you give your government direction. So the economic model, we have to look at it very well. And one of the things is that we must understand the currency of intervention. The currency of transaction all over the world is dollar. And for your currency to have respect, we cannot command the respect for our naira with this attitude. If we keep running after dollar the way we run after dollar to buy toothpick, to buy lipstick, to buy wristwatch, to buy shoes, to buy all the things that make us look unserious to the rest of the world, our dollar cannot be strengthened. So this economic model, the government must have the courage to tell Nigerians that we are not saying you should tighten your belt. We are saying that there's a role for you to play too. And one of the roles is that when we apportion your own role to you, pick it up. And one of it is that how can you want your economy to be strong and you be blaming government for banning importation of rice that we are producing in Nigeria? So we are serious people. So there's not abracadabra about it. We are in this country together. We will come back to this conversation in 10 years' time if this is our character.
But you said we should not blame the federal government for banning something like
they banned it, people were complaining, and they put it in the list of what you can import again.
But we do not really have enough that can go around.
We have enough, Mary, we have enough. Abba, don't say this. Our borders are porous. That's the challenge we should push to the government.
Okay.
Imported rice kept coming in, which gives the local rice the challenge, the local producer the challenge. That if the imported rice get flooded in when local prices were in the market, then they deliberately and consciously shatter the price of the local price so that they don't have option to increase the price too. They don't have option to rebag it with. So if our borders are not poor, that should be the superficial that I said the people should play that. You say we should, but why are these rice getting in? So the government will brace up for it. The rest are coming into the country and say we are banning it. That's unfair to us. And then I said the power of the powerless people is to be organized and to be united. But what to sit down in a rocking chair? I want the government to fix it for us. See, I devote my time to speak to people more these days because there's that rule that people don't. That there's a missing link. The impression is that it's going to be garbage in, garbage out. The government will just get the people. Government don't get there and do the right thing. Why do you have ministers for beating remove like almost on daily basis? In the last 10 years, they have had about almost 10 prime ministers in Britain. That's to tell you that there are people. They know the character of their people that you will go in a manner you will not like if you don't live in a respected manner. So let's have that attitude too that when they bought Jeep of 160 million. They did it 4 years ago too. But when Nigerians make noise after 2 months, that's their time, just leave them alone. That should not be the character of a people who want his country to be great. If you look at what is going on in the world today, you see young men protesting. In the West, people mistook it for Palestinians, Israeli. Let's keep behind Israel before. But today, the young people now realize that no, this is not about Israel, Palestine. This is not about West and the Arab world. The table turned around and the young men rose and said that this is not the world we want from the adults. Stop pitching Arabs against the Western world again. This is genocide. But we here in Nigeria, it's only NSAS to be celebrating. And we know the reason why NSAS is so popular. Yahoo and the police and things like that. Is that how young boys should behave in our country? So, and when we were their age, I'm not an old man, but I'm always a teenager before I was locked up. I didn't say anybody should get locked up again. On SHARP, anti-SHARP riot, we knew that when SHARP is introduced, our economy will be this way. Youth don't know that again. Now, what is the implication of subsidy removal? If you leave, what is the implication? What you go and do is to go and reach social media. He won't do his own investigation on his own time. And if he say his subsidy removal is going to increase the prices of things, and so that's the only thing you know about subsidy. And that's so disappointing about the young men. So all of us must, if a youth want the country to be like the country you read on social media, you must play a role. The moment you are supposed, so for the economy to be better, the model, you have to be careful of the model the government is introducing. And what is the model? The model that you look at the body language of Nigerians before you put up a policy in place. That's not correct. Ban things that will make your dollar strong, and you're banning things, that's not correct. So Mr. President should sit down with the CBN governor and the minister and every public office holder that are stakeholders on the economy. Put up in place, and don't lack the courage to tell Nigerians that this is going to take some time. It's not late for the government to prepare our mind.
Even though his wife, Remi Tinubu, has said it before, she said her husband is not a magician. Nigerians should not expect.
That is correct. That's leaving it to her. Someone who is not in government.
Yes, and even Ribadu came out to say that too.
For Remi, we forgive her. For telling us too late, we forgive her. In fact, we should appreciate the courage for her to say such a thing. She should be commended. But for Ribadu, it's unforgivable. To be preparing our mind now, 6 months into your government. So, Mr. President, wants someone we trust. That's the capacity. There's nobody that cannot have a misstep. The misstep is their lack of recognition to prepare our mind. So it's not late. Sit down with Nigerians, come out courageously, and announce that at this juncture, it's time for you to be patient.
So, sir, talking about
not tying bets, because there's a difference between you will sacrifice and you must be patient. There's a difference. There's no sacrifice Nigerians are willing to do now, but there must be. It is important and compulsory. That patience is important and compulsory. Patience with supervision.
Patience with supervision.
During Buhari's regime, people were complaining about the fact that he wasn't really taking people along. He just takes his decision without informing the people or letting people understand what was coming for them. In the case of Tinubu, most times after some challenges, he comes out.
That's very commendable.
This is what is happening, but we are working towards achieving.
That's very commendable.
That is why. And going back to some of the things you talked about, which really agrees to what the World Bank is saying. In 2024, we'll be having 30 million Nigerians who will be going hungry, who will need assistance from people who can actually assist them. And we keep talking about how the young people of Nigeria, who are the largest number that can actually foster the growth of Nigeria. And we read it on the newspaper talking about certain alcoholic drinks that Nigerian young people take to mislead them or to mislead their minds. What would you really say to young Nigerians who are actually, I know you talked about young Nigerians, who are actually thinking they are doing the right thing, but not really doing the right thing, talking about taking some things that would hinder them from actually achieving the right thing they are supposed to achieve. So many Nigerians, when you go out on the street, you will see young people who are not doing anything, who are always buying sachet drinks, drinking, sitting there thinking the government is not doing anything. Those are the same people the government, or let me say the politicians, also use because they are vulnerable, they are on the streets, they are not doing anything. They lack what to do, they lack money to eat. So if they look at them and see that, okay, this person is actually vulnerable, I can use
instrument.
Yes. So what would you have to say about this kind of situation now?
Well, thank you very much. They have little blame. They should be blamed, but the blame the young people have is so little, but very fundamental. Their blame is very fundamental. You see, if you don't invest in the exuberance of your youth, there's a consequence for it. Every youth is exuberant, but you must invest it. All the nation, that is why they are the nucleus of the economy. In production line, you see young men there, they drive it. And that's why for older people, there's nothing wrong if young men understand the world today more than us, because it's their world. So when I see a young man knowing more about social media than me, the young man may say, you are not there. The young man say, it's normal. When I was their age too, I understand things more than my father. So if my son didn't understand the word more than me again, there's a challenge. So it's normal. So those I'm not feeling that I don't know social media as much as them. That's the normal thing. But we don't introduce or put in place a mentorship program in Nigeria. The Gowon was 29, unmarried, head of state. Even Awolowo was leading Yoruba people, he was not up to 50. The same thing as Ukwe and Sardauna of Sokoto. Obasanjo became head of state and retired general at the age of 40. And that's the case all over the world. Alexander conquered the world at the age of 19. Christ was 36. Prophet Muhammad was called prophet at the age of 40. You can begin to mention countless people, those great people in the music industry. Today, when they say they are 70, I say 70K. They were not 70, 30 years ago, 40 when we were watching them. So they are just, at that time, they were in their 20s and 30s. So, but society gave them the opportunity to rise. The likes of Alpha Obasanjo became president, and when they were growing older, they changed the age of who can become president to the age they had at that time. So they keep changing the goalpost. So, and if you do that to people, you are disrupting the flow for them to become a leader. They are the society laid the template for what they have become today.
I love that. The society laid the template. Gave them the chance, opportunity to rise.
But you can turn your setback into victory. That's their own blame. Well, the mess we find ourselves today, some people will rise and bring the society out of it. They are always young men. In Cuba, Fidel was young. In America, George Washington and all the people that brought America out of it were young. People who waged the battle against the colonial masters in Nigeria, they were young. The Mahoma Wus that Britain apologized to today, these were young men. The Jomo Kenyatta, they were young men that time, they were not old. So what we expect, and when the military came that time too, we were almost teenagers. We were just small boys when they arrest us. As at that time, I've not seen dollar in my life. Where is the dollar that Wole Soyinka gave you? Where is your? I don't even know what national passport looks like that time. But they expect that for us to be doing what we are doing. They are so advanced. When we engage the school authority in debate that time, they submit to us. When we engage governors in debate, they submit to us. When we engage professors in debate on history, on political economy, they submit to us. They say, why did you acquire this knowledge? There are books I've run 30 years ago that when I say I've read this book 30 years ago, it's always a surprise. I'm in school for my PhD now in political science. 99.9% of the books that they are using to teach me, that's capital. I've read Communist Manifesto. The young men find themselves where they are today, not out of their own volition. They should not be blamed for, but they should be blamed for remaining there. So society, the young men in the society leads their own nations out of the mess created by the older men. So, and that's their blame for that. And it's not late. It's not late. The youth should form themselves into cluster groups. And like I said, there's always the conscienceless power, power that doesn't have conscience. There's always the powerless conscience. People who have want to do, they are not powerful. So get organized. The youth, not to foment trouble and cause ensign, but form yourself into cluster group. We are coming up with a youth buri now. We are coming up with a youth buri. What should be the role of youth in all of this? If you form yourself into cluster group now, and you engage people at your local level, starting from your chairman of local government, to your councillor, to your governor, make a position to the president, to the governor, that the young element in this country felt that you did not prepare our mind enough for this challenge. That's number one. Number two is that your economy, which is what we are discussing, economy, the young men is of the view that population is an asset and you must make use of the population. Your policy on importation cannot create employment for the young people of this country. So you need to reverse it. The young people of this country must be ready to pay that price. Japan took a shortcut to development. China is there today. They are doing almost 1 billion passengers. The young men, the young men of 10, 20 people, they put up cottage industries. This what we go and import in China. This is what produced in China. It was produced by a 16-year-old boy. So the young people in this country must turn things around. It's tempting to say that I'm depressed, I want to take this. It's tempting. But that sounds also tempting in the rest of the world. It was tempting in Russia. They came out, the young people led them out. It was tempting in America. It was tempting all over the world. It brought them out. The young people brought them. So for Nigerians, what the people who have the capacity to bring us out of are the young men.
So, sir, before we go on the segment, because of our time, we're trying to manage our time so well. I want you to talk about, President Bola Tinubu said on Tuesday that he inherited a whole lot of, loan, and, some things that are not, that he can't even talk about. And people started talking that if you know you inherited this, you shouldn't have said so many things that you promised us right after your swearing in. And it brings me to the question of, do you think that this loan that he inherited are a contributory factor to the wavering economy?
Well, first, let's clarify the issue of loan.
Okay.
We operate a capitalist economy in the world. A capitalist economy is a borrowing economy. And that is why you must bear in mind that a capitalist economy, the recurring decimal is profit.
Okay.
Your government must profit from you. They will commercialize and they will privatize. So when young people see your country commercializing or selling certain properties for commercial purpose, don't argue with the economic model you operate. So loan is a nutrient, should be a nutrient to our economy, but in our own case it's not so. And you don't blame people that are giving you loan. They want to make profit. So for what you have said, that's correct. And that is what I had expected at the beginning of the administration, which is the point I'm making, that you have to prepare our mind that don't rush me. What I'm looking at, 2 years we are in together. Come and dig my house. I will be drinking garri and granite with you. Don't rush me. Give me some time. And when EFCC chairman said that they went to campus to arrest 250 students, and they came to TV and said that night race should stop. And we warned him that operational tactics of previous administration, don't condemn it. You don't know what you are going to inherit. As a civil society that works very closely with EFCC, we know that EFCC keep vigil in some people out for 21 days. Morning, night. So if they see him in the middle, we don't know arrest him. So that's why political class should learn to prepare our mind. Under promise and over perform. Under promise and over perform. If we're doing that, this apprehension will not be there. That are we getting it right? Are we going to come out of it? But if the people knew that they will brace up for it, we've been warned that we should brace up for the storm that is coming. We will brace up. You will know that once you take that punch, it's not going to decimate you. It's going to strengthen you that we've been warned about this. Okay, let's go. Do you have more punch to throw economically? Let's go. Then, and your support of people for government is important. So that's why Nigerians should get to the truth, get to the fact that the picture is not going to go now. And the government must begin to have the courage to tell us that we are doing the right thing, but it must flow with us. And in flowing with us, it's come with patience.
And let us all know that, to make the Nigeria economic work, it doesn't have to be just on the government part. Just as you said, everyone is involved, the young, the old, the government, our leaders, everyone has to be involved. You mentioned how political leaders should go for training on how to lead. They should also go for training on how to lose, because this is some of the, this is one of the things
they should prepare for loss too.
That the young people are watching, and at the end they will definitely go back to those same mistakes and the young people will go back to it again. So I think it is a work that everyone has to be involved in. And this is the end of this segment actually. So we'll be going on a short break, and when we come back we'll go straight to our trending stories. President Bola Tinubu has asked the media to project the country positively to attract the needed investment to foster economic growth. The president, through the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, stressed the role of the media as a primary source of information. He emphasized the role of timely and accurate reporting, saying it helps businesses make informed decisions and fosters a conducive environment for growth. Reacting to these, citizens of Lagos State, while speaking with Alive News, urged the media to speak nothing but the truth and try not to mislead the public with false information. According to them, the media should always pass the opinion of the people to the government, and noting that the media serves as the gatekeeper between the government and the people, which is actually very right. But one thing I also don't know how we can separate when it comes to media and then the government, what the government wants and what the people want. Most times the government wants fairness on their own part, which most times the media wants to portray, oh, the government did this, the government did that. And at the end of it, you will see that it is not going in line with what they want, and it is going to show probably the image of the country in a different light from what they want to hear. But Nigerians are now saying we want factual information. We want the media to tell us exactly what is happening. So do you think there's ever going to be a balance between what the government wants and what the people want?
Well, there's a breakdown of trust between government and the people. When government put up a certain policy, people don't trust it. And that doesn't begin with this government. It's been there for long, and it's not only in Nigeria, it's all over the world. So also, government also trust the people. That when you express a view, they think it comes with certain incitement, maybe is speaking the mind of the opposition. And in most cases, someone who has taken part in government before, who has been advisor to government on labor and student matters. I broke down that mistrust to prepare the mind of the government that the student and the labor they didn't trust you, because they thought all the things you promised you may not do it. So we itemized the things and it worked. And for the people, we have to prepare their mind that you don't have option than to trust your government. So we must find our way back to each other, the government and the people. And the media also, I don't know how the media will survive this. Nigerians have addiction for bad news. If you don't sell bad news, sensational news, you are not going to be so much known. There are bloggers today who give us statistics and data. I know many of them. We visit that website, but the traffic there is so low. The implication of economy, production level of Nigeria with a rising population, but the traffic there is so low. But people do scandals. Someone's sleeping someone's wife. Someone's head has been cut for ritual. So that addiction, I don't know how we are going to address it, and that's why the DG for National Orientation has a lot of work to do, because that's basically what we need, orientation. It's not just to read newspaper and appeal to Nigerians that you must believe what you see in the paper, or you must not. It's about orientation. That everywhere in the world today have flair to read good things about their country. The TikTok is a platform to educate, to give orientation, and to render assistance intellectually to the people, exchange of knowledge. That's not the case in Nigeria. That's not the case. The case in Nigeria is completely different.
That's not the case in many countries, because TikTok has been banned in so many countries right now.
Yes, that's why in Nigeria too, there must be censorship. There must be that. You know, for people who don't travel so much, the people outside will bring certain stories to you and I say, are you sure about what we are doing COVID-19? They say, there are people who are giving them money only for us to discover that it's a loan. So there's freedom of press all over the world, only for us to see that in Britain They want to ban TikTok. And that's the model we are imposing ourselves. That you can say anything you like. You can't say anything you like in certain countries, on all the countries in the world. And in Nigeria too, if you say you can't say anything you like, we are not persecuting you. So for professional medias like you, your profession is under a threat by people who are unprofessional. Some people have become authority on social media. And even on radio stations, the conduct you put up here, if you look at bloggers, you see this is not professional. So you have to work very, very closely with National Orientation Agency. When we say censorship, it's your profession that's under threat. It's not you that they are trying to censor. It's not you, it's not the fourth estate. It's the people who are decimating the image of the profession. I want to say these journalists are reporting, and I know what they are saying. What they are saying is that it's the unprofessional one. You can report sensational news. It's part of news, and it's okay and it's fine. But professionals will have a way of reporting it. Before social media, it was not like this. When social media came, everything turned upside down. And that is why it is very, very, very important to agree to government that there should be moderation for social, and there should be penalties for people who use it as an instrument to bully other people, to blackmail people. Look at all sorts of things within the world, only to know that these are lies. And countries that use it for propaganda, they use it consciously to achieve certain aim in the interest of their own country. If you look at the Palestinian war and the Israeli war today, the IDF, the defense person, was doing propaganda to give the impression that there's operational base for Al-Shifa, but media people exposed him. Kudos to you that you expose him. You said the integrity of this story has been checked, and that's what we want in Nigeria too. When you do your work properly, unprofessional people will not take it over from you. So we are praying to the media professionals that you must, and that's part of supervision. You must push a lot of initiative to the NOA and the government on how to curb it.
Sir, that point is actually right, but I want to cite some instances when a sitting governor will invite you to come, cover this press conference, and at the end of the day, standing outside the conference area, you won't be given opportunity to do your job. So that brings me to the question that will the government is actually requesting that we work solely to push forward the image of Nigeria beautifully, perfectly, and not portray it in the negative light. But is the government willing to let the media?
That's correct.
You said okay,
that's correct.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is the government willing to let the media reveal its pitfall and lacuna? That is a very big question. Are you willing, as a government, to let us see or carry out proper investigative reporting, proper reportorials, and all of those things? It's not just for, you said something earlier, you said it's not for you to just say a thing, but for you to actionate it is what is needed. So this is also going to the government be willing to give the press, the major fourth estate.
Composure matters.
Yes.
Composure of the media is what change.
Sir, maybe the composure fine, but you bring a press conference letter, invite, and you go in there with no opportunity to go, do your job. So we have some lacunas.
Composure matters a lot. If you have a composure that I'm just being objective, government will listen to you more. There are channels today in the country that the reports, they are not on anybody's side. If the people here, they will report the limitation from the society.
That brings me to
and if the government has done something, they will also report and the government accept their view.
We have some people in government ruling us at the point that has our own that has the ownership of a media house, having a TV station, having a radio station, having
newspaper,
print media. So do you think they would want you to,
No. I've seen instances of in Lagos State Television. Sorry to mention that. I've been there severally, and I was there people came, more than half of people come there, always come and criticize the government of Lagos State. And that's something that the composition also matters a lot. If the composure is of a particular is known that you are always fear, the government will trust you. But with this composure is that no matter what I do, you have never seen anything good in it. I brought railway. You said I brought free education. I brought car assembly. I brought and it's always the negative. So it's difficult. So the media should be protected by the society. We are not doing enough to protect you. We are not doing enough to protect you. And it's not only in Nigeria. And Nigerian case should be different because if not for the media, in the last 30 years, this country will have become a banana country. But for the role of the media, that's why you must protect yourself from young professionals. So it is the role of the people to supervise the government and to also protect the media because you are the tool for making the society great. So if you leave you at the mercy of the government, you'll be decimated. That's why you must build a barricade around the media.
Well, talking about what the role of the government and then the role of the media, the federal government has launched the revised guidelines for the production of community development agreements in the solid mineral sector to ensure that communities derive maximum benefits from operations of the mineral sector. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, made this known on Thursday in Abuja during the official unveiling of the revised guidelines in the solid minerals sector. The minister stated that the new guidelines will ensure mining companies sign an agreement with host communities that spell out the benefit for both parties so that operators can carry out their duties without infractions. He further gave insight into the new framework and how it will henceforth enhance a mutually beneficial relationship between the mining companies and host communities. Of course, I just mentioned how, it is the role of the media to bring this out, and also the role of the government to bring this initiative, and then the role of the media to disseminate it and for people to
that's a good one.
Right. When it comes to the community development, they should know they are right on what.
That's the source control.
Of course, and going further, because we do not have time, as Nigerians continue to suffer the economic hardship occasioned by the recent removal of fuel subsidy, the Nigerian Law School has raised its tuition fee from 296,000 naira to 476,000 naira. A student of Abuja Law School says the new fee would deter disadvantaged students from achieving their dreams of being called to the bar. And this has been the case of schools recently, how they've been complaining on how the school fees have been going so high, and it is always the disadvantaged students that are going to be at the receiving end because they will not be able to finish. Some of them will not be able to finish. Some of them will have to struggle and beg relatives and other people,
and that's why
they can be able to
venture into crime. You can see that the crime rate is on the increase by the day because we want to eke out a living by every means possible, and it boils down to the fact that the Nigerian state maybe is not really considerate about the youth, because we are highly vulnerable. And when we are talking about the youth now, we are not talking about being a lady or being a guy. We are talking about youth in general, and that's why I would still refer us to the story of Eniola, who disguised as a lady. Yes, as a lady. That's what we face in the summer.
Education, because that's part of what we've been discussing, that government must learn how to explain its policies. Education is becoming more and more expensive because in the past, education offers little. You can study law, medicine, that's all. But as life becomes complex, the scope of what we must study gets wider. So education cannot be solely funded by government again. That's a reality. And government also realized that people cannot also have the economic capacity to fund themselves. That calls for the question of the loan. And Nigerians are not twisting it around. If you want to have good education, it's expensive. The content of education has become wider. The syllabus of who will become doctor now is different from someone who wants to become doctor 40 years ago. As scientists, as geographers, even as historians. So we are are writing history, more things are being discovered. So education becomes, it's a new thing now. Artificial intelligence and so many other things are being introduced into our syllabus. And that is why we must not lag behind in the quality of education we are going to give to our children, except it's going to be half education. And no education is better than half education, because half education as a doctor is suicidal. Half education as a lawyer. So that's why government must explain that so we know that the price to get yourself good education will go beyond certain numbers of Nigerians. Maybe 70% may not be able to afford it. That's why all over the world, government come to their aid. We will loan you the money to get good education. And people still disparage that. That's why there's a need, a lot of things that government needs to do about its policies at times. You need to explain it to people for them to understand, so that ASUU will come up one day and say they are going on strike. And the parents themselves will ask ASUU, why are you going on strike? The government has told us up to this extent. And you are the one discouraging the school authority from making use of that facility to be able to give you the money you deserve. So parents will engage ASUU, but as it is now, ASUU want more pay. They want education to be more funded, but they don't want government to raise money to be able to fund education properly. You can't raise money from mining. You can't raise money from other sector and you push it in education. That's why the capitalist economy is a commercial venture. You have to commercialize education. You can't raise money from health sector and you expect to fund. No, you use money from health sector to take care of us. People must pay their health taxes. Then tomorrow, when you want to go and buy medication for people who have hypertension, you now suddenly remember that ASUU salary has not been paid. No, but who does that? There's no mention that that's done. So money from education should be used to fund education. That's why more money will be collected from the student, and that's why that platform is open for people to go.
So you're basically in support of the increase.
It will be increased. I'm not speaking my opinion. I'm talking about from strength of knowledge that education these days is becoming more expensive because the content is expanding. The content of what you must know as a doctor is increasing. You must buy more equipment. So school fees will be increased too.
All right. Talking about Mariam, you mentioned something about how lack of education actually can lead some people to go do, some criminal activities. Talking about a Nigerian man, Saheed Aziz, who was granted asylum in the United Kingdom after claiming to be gay, has been arrested for masterminding a £220,000 fraud within 14 months. Aziz allegedly established a network involving various individuals using their residencies to receive goods from online vendors who shipped items before payment. He says he was said to have collected items purchased from sites like eBay and Facebook Marketplace and sold them at his brother's electronics store in the northwest of England. Aziz, who went on to father 3 children with 3 different women, earned a portion of the sales and shared some profits with his accomplices in Bitcoin. Well, we have been hearing about all these criminal acts, but because we do not have time, we'll have to go straight to our next story. And the next story will also have the founder of Christ High Commission Church in Ekiti State, Noah Abraham, has been arrested. The controversial pastor was in the news last year for allegedly collecting 310,000 naira from church members as a ticket to heaven. The cleric this time around was arrested by the Ekiti State Police Command in collaboration with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. That's NAPTIP, for the alleged kidnapping of over 9 persons, including minors, and impregnating the wife of his choir coordinator. It was gathered that some of the hostages were children of his members whom he had hypnotized, brainwashed, and set against their parents. Some of the parents of the children who were kept hostage, church members, and even the legal wife of the pastor, Abraham, who had staged a protest to the Ekiti State Police Command, pleaded with the government and appropriate authorities to assist them in getting their children. And, let's just leave it there. But you know, these type of things have been happening. Church, or let me say, worship centers are places where people are supposed to go get solace, are supposed to go get answers to, you know, some of the disturbing conditions they find themselves in. But it is now changing to the church is now becoming the bad part or the bad place where people, you know, where so many crimes or so many things are happening, which is really, really not proper. But let's go to another story. One James Rich has been arrested for allegedly having carnal knowledge of a teenager inside a church toilet. This is another thing we are still talking about. It is still saying crime, going back to the church, talking about the politics, and church is condemning politicians or the government is condemning the church and other people. You know, it has been going like that. So I don't really know how, you know, we are going to settle this issue when we have the, let's say, the religious bodies who are not actually doing the proper thing they are supposed to do.
Well, you know, decadence is a communicable disease. It spreads. And when we have not gotten to this point of magnitude of a decadence, we were warning that the decadence in our society will eat into all institutions. Police do certain things that are good police, but police do certain things that a security agent, why must we be the one doing this? In churches, in mosques. So it's the same thing. When there's an economic depression, there will be a corresponding moral depression. You get my point?
Yes, sir.
When there's an economic depression, there will be a corresponding moral depression. What do I mean by that? People will begin to seek for unconventional means to survive. Ritual, hypnotizing, and making the religious platform for making money. So it boils down to one thing, that once you repair your society, once you strengthen your own institution, we will become a new person. It's because all our institutions are weak. You turn around your country to become, your people will become great. Nobody will go and buy a ticket to heaven from an imam or a pastor when you have a job to do. But because a lot of things has been juggled together as a nation, and that's why people use radio as a tool to make money for themselves. So what we are saying is that all of us should be part of the call for the change. When things fall in place, no imam or no pastor will be able to use that platform for business together. So it boils down to mind. It's spreading. But the beginning of it is let's repair our economy. Once we repair our economy, nobody will be able to take advantage of anybody. The economy leads to YouTube, what we witness among the youth today, the expression of the pastor, people, and population shows clearly that in Nigeria, about 72% of workforce seek for unconventional means to survive. You want to get admission into university, the admission of a person that is in charge is looking for money to fuel his car. So you ask for money. So you, the father of the daughter who is seeking for admission, your salary is not enough. You ask somebody's file. So it keeps going round. But when you repair your economy, things will be done normally. Nobody is still offering unconventional means. Nobody will be selling tickets to heaven. You will say the things in the Bible and you say the right thing in the Quran. So it's not apparent.
I wonder how someone would just sit down and tell you, Mariam, that you should give so amount of money, and that will be your way to heaven.
And that shows you how gullible Nigerians can be. We no longer worship God. We worship the religious leaders. It's not just the pastors. In fact, all the clerics, including the people in the traditional space. You need to see how people, run to want to have the sheshe done, the day done, and you need to see how Islamic clerics would say this Al-Arabi, this one is this one is that. All of those things. And I remember that the Constitution states clearly that Nigeria does not have a religion.
That's hypocrisy. It's a constitutional hypocrisy.
Well, maybe, but then
we are religious.
Fine, but the Constitution does not allow for Nigeria to have a particular
That's
religion.
the
Why then should we all be religious?
We are religious.
Religious.
You can't claim not to be religious, but that's not a problem. That's not you. You are right.
I actually believe we are religious, but we're not even spiritual.
We are religious. We are not spiritual.
Most Nigerians are just religious.
So
They
you
just
don't-
want to follow what the
So you
pastor
don't
is
put
saying.
all these conjectures.
Don't believe in the spiritual aspect. If you believe in the spirit, to be honest, the spirit will lead you, and immediately you get to. Of course, it is not by our power nor our might, but by the leading of the Holy Spirit. Anytime you are going to go, I can remember there was a time something was going to happen in the morning. You called, you sent a message,
Yes.
like you felt it in your spirit that something was going to go wrong, and that was why you said you should call and ask. And we sorted out the issue. She felt it. So sometimes we Nigerians, we just allow ourselves to be used. Sometimes
Yes, that's
I just
the word.
feel we just allow ourselves to be used. It is high time we stopped thinking that only the clerics have answers to our problems. We can solve our problems ourselves. If we go on our knees, if we pray to God, if we do the necessary things are going to be fixed. Of course, you mentioned how things can't be fixed as magic. You don't expect because you pray to God and you want magic to happen. Even some of these pastors can't actually they can't perform magic. Actually, if you see it as a magic, then there's a problem already. There's a challenge. There's something somewhere. So we should stop seeing it as if it is a do or die when it comes to religious matters in Nigeria.
What God has not done for Muhammad and Christ, He can't do it for anybody.
Alright, this is so far we can go on this segment. We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll go straight into the business report. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome to Live News. The immediate past Minister of Youth and Sports Development Chief Sunday Dare, the federal government of Nigeria has taken punitive action against the sectarian. Nigerians have expressed fear over the possible shutdown of businesses and job losses.
See, things are just going higher every day.
For the fact that going from here to Ombalinde before was at 300, but now is at the high side of 700, 800.
The subsidy costs us trillions of naira yearly. Such as a vast sum of money will have been better spent on public transportation, health care, school, housing, and even national security.
Titus, why you dey rush go now?
See, I dey go my sister house so. Na their baby. Her pikin just dey cry all the time. Na so take cry, the pikin dey cry. Day before yesterday, the same thing. Yesterday they call me. Today they don't call me again. I don't tire.
The pikin dey sick.
I don't know. He just dey cry, one strong cry like this.
If it be say the child need to go for genotype test too.
Genotype test. Which one be that?
Genotype test. The one where they go take his blood sample, they go come test time if he gets AA,
Okay.
AS, or even SS.
That one sound like something make go expensive. Oh, man, I don't get money.
Titus, calm down. Now free of charge.
Free of charge. I beg, where if you do this thing?
If you're ready now, just walk into any primary health center. Ask them, say you want to do test, genotype test, they go do one for you.
My sister, thank you so much. I'm grateful.
Come on. The child only 6 weeks.
Now 4 weeks this child be.
Okay. Make sure not do one before 6 weeks.
Before 6 weeks?
Yes, 0 to before 6 weeks.
0 to 6 weeks.
Free of charge.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. God will bless you for me. Thank you.
No.
Okay.
This message now from the Center of Excellence for Sickle Cell Disease Research and Training, University of Abuja and Novartis.
Diving into the world of business, a new report by the World Bank has revealed that between 12 to 13 million Nigerians will need food assistance in April 2024. The report comes just as Nigerians continue to battle the heartfelt impact of the elimination of fuel subsidy, just as the country's currency continues to dwindle against the dollar. Recall that in his inaugural speech on May 29, Tinubu said that there was no funding for fuel subsidies in the 2023 budget and that such payments were no longer justified. To boost the economy, he said that his administration will instead direct funding towards infrastructure and other initiatives. This data coincides with the National Bureau of Statistics' most recent report on inflation, which indicated that food prices had drastically decreased in October compared to the previous month. Despite NBS figures, Nigerians have struggled to buy food items as food and other commodity prices continue to rise. And now on Naira to dollar exchange rate, the Naira weakens against United States dollar at the official market on Thursday, after it gained in the previous market segment on Wednesday. The Naira closed at 841.14 Naira to a dollar at the authorized window on Thursday. As such, the rate represents a 2.70% decline from 818.99% to $1. It exchanged in the previous session on Wednesday. The Naira commenced trading at 806 Naira on Thursday before closing at 841.14 Naira. The local currency experienced an intraday exchange low of 1,140 and a high of 600 Naira before it finally settled at 841.14% per dollar on Thursday. So today in the black market, buy dollar for 1,137 Naira and sell your dollar for 1,140 Naira. So Tante, you'll be so lucky to sell that your dollar that I saw in your purse. And moving forward, let's talk about the rice import and the cost, saying it may outstrip cumulative. According to reports, 1.8 trillion spent under anchor borrowers. The United States Department of Agriculture, in its 2023 grain report on Nigeria, projects that the country will import 2.3 million metric tons of parboiled rice in 2024, a 10% increase from the 2.1 projected this year. Currently, a metric ton of parboiled rice sells for $568 per ton. Data from the Council shows this means that Nigeria may spend a whopping 1.31 billion naira importing rice in 2024 using an exchange rate of 900 naira per dollar. The country will spend 1.2 trillion naira to import parboiled rice, which exceeds the total funding of ABP by 100 billion naira. It is obvious that insecurity, farming areas, high input prices, and inadequate mechanization favors rice import over the possibility of encouraging more production. You know that also, Tanti, and we all know that, because due to the higher prices, we cannot afford some of these mechanizations that will help us produce rice. In addition, increasing demand for foreign rice coupled with high production costs has made local rice uncompetitive, especially in terms of quality. In October, the Central Bank of Nigeria restored the 43 items, including rice, it prohibited from access to foreign exchange after 8 years. This move, according to analysts, will further increase importation of rice next year, owing to Nigerians' high preference for local parboiled rice and quality issues. They are saying that our rice are stones; they are not neatly, preserved or packaged. But despite the increase in productivity per unit of cultivated land and the expansion of mills in the last 4 years, the quality of most local varieties has remained perpetually poor, thus fueling consumers' preference for foreign varieties because of all of these things that I've mentioned. Also, low quality coupled with the high cost of production has made local rice uncompetitive. Imported brands from Thailand, Vietnam, and India, and some people will say, I love to eat Uncle Ben's rice, are the preferred options. And it is unfortunate that Nigerian rice millers, both integrated and small scale, are cutting down production due to high operating costs, and because you as a Nigerian, you don't want to patronize them, and primarily due to high diesel and paddy costs. Mills also face additional constraints, including a weakening naira and increasing smuggling of foreign brands through land borders, making domestic production less profitable. As Mr. Olukoba rightly said, that our border is so porous. It is a glaring fact that local rice is cheaper than imported rice, but the price margin is not significant, low enough to compensate for the difference in quality. For production, the United States Department of Agriculture forecasts Nigeria's rice production to decrease to 8.1 million metric tons in 2024 from 8.5 million metric tons in 2023, owing to higher fertilizer prices, reduced access to farmlands in conflict-prone areas, and increase in unrecorded rice import of cheaper paddy that is making local paddy less competitive. So I bring it to Mr. Lukoba, like he said this morning, that his wife asked him this morning that you have to give us money for fuel if you know you want to go out and if you want me to go pick your children in school, you know. And everybody wants to eat parboiled rice. Nobody wants to eat Nigeria locally made rice because of the stone, the poor packaging, and all of this. So what do you have to say? And now we are experiencing hike in the price of a bag of rice. Now it sells for 55,000 naira, 50,000, and in some area 49,500 naira.
Well, we should not be too ambitious, arrogant, and pompous as a people. If I liken myself to Dangote's son now, you know, I'm going to be traumatizing myself.
Yeah.
Because our lifestyles will definitely be different. Our lifestyle with citizens of America will be different. Let's get that clearly. So if you go to America and come back, you should know that you are coming back to your country that you are trying to build. The political class will have this thinking. The professionals should have this thinking. Nigerians, other Nigerians like me, should also have this thing. If I go to America and start saying that in America it doesn't happen like that, Nigeria is not America. If I want to build America, Nigeria, I should join in building it. The rice will be eaten here. If you want to be eating the rice, will be eating here in America the way you eat in America. We are wasting our time. Improve your rice. Participate, and people will say, is it me that will come and improve the rice? Or you have to play a role. The moment you have become an human being, it is humane for you to also know that what's going to be a contribution to make life better. Some people do it by the plane, and some pessimists say that this plane will fall one day unless you parachute. Even if you are a pessimist, your pessimist mind should also be able to make something out of Nigeria for us. If you are not thinking good, pessimists talk about parachute. That this plane will. Imagine when someone do as amazing thing as aeroplane. So if you have a pessimist mind as well, you must be positive about it. So what I'm saying in a sense is that there's a role for us to play in all of this. If you want to continue to eat Uncle Ben's rice, we are not getting it right too. We are thinking we are the son and daughter of
Mr. Shem loves
Mr. Shem, that we want to be talking as if we are the son of Dangote. It's different. We are citizens of Nigeria, not Britain. So, yes, of course, it's possible to turn our country around. Yes, it's possible. But why are you running away from the responsibility as a people? Why do you want to go to... Some people say that, I don't know how to reach Uncle, but that's arrogant. And, so for us, the moment we allow our country to get to this point, the penalty is all of us who are going to be high too. So, those up, if you want to your country to be great like America, government has its own role. In fact, it has a major role. But we must also admit that we have a role. Stop eating imported rice.
So now let's go to the next story. You know, MTN is celebrating the fact that they are making it big in Nigeria. Just recently, they deducted people's, money, and they started charging high on the MTN data tariff and all of those things. So they are saying to us that MTN Nigeria remains the biggest telecom market in Africa with over 200 million subscribers at about 43% penetration and unique mobile penetration growth. Despite the ongoing economic challenges, MTN mobile data is driving over 40% growth and still maintains strong commercial momentum, with data revenue hitting over 749 billion naira following sustained growth opportunities presented by sustained higher demands by data, supported by accelerated 4G and 5G. Thank God for that network coverage. MTN remains Nigeria's leading mobile provider of communication services with a strong position for long-term growth. The company has remitted over 4 trillion naira to the federal government in taxes and one of the most tax compliant companies in Nigeria. So, I want to tell you that MTN is paying their tax accurately. They are saying that they are not paying.
Mara, I think MTN is coming out now to talk about its network is because of the computer error that happened just a few days ago, where people were jubilating, telling everyone, if you're owing MTN, check it. They have settled your debts. Everybody was checking on everybody. Well,
some even borrowed more.
Some even borrowed more, and MTN went back tripling or doubling their debt because it was actually just a computer error. So I just feel like, well, this is coming out just, to try and soften everything that is happening, because people were like, oh, so this thing was actually even a mistake. It wasn't even true. And we were actually thinking MTN was the best and all that. But even though you can't take that away from them, I think, when it comes to the network and how good they can be, I think they are one of the best.
So for you who wants to have a business in Nigeria, for your knowledge, the most lucrative businesses in Nigeria include agriculture, restaurants, or owning a restaurant, a furniture company, real estate, oil and gas, haulage and logistics, car wash and transportation. All these businesses offer great returns on investment and are perfect for the Nigerian client. So, Tante, it's about time you own your own mama put. So we'll be patronizing you. Or is it
multiple sources of income?
Yes. I'm thinking of maybe, I will have the mama put, I think. Well, we will try on that.
You don't run at loss when you are
doing food business.
You can't run at loss.
Yeah. People have to eat, actually.
People have to eat, of course.
Anything agriculture.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, you can't run at loss.
So this is how I close on the segment, the business segment.
All right, I'm talking about production in Nigeria. We talked about how the people are complaining that Nigeria keeps borrowing, as a country keeps borrowing, in a country that does not produce as much. And we are talking now, when the government comes out to say, let us produce, we will still have, we are the ones who will still start complaining about how we can't produce because of this, because of that, and inflation will start setting in. Talking about local rice and foreign rice before we go. Local rice was actually very cheap before, the government says, since we have a very good farm, or
we even have different types of local rice. Why not Aba or Fada?
It's even medicinal.
Yes, it's Mila.
It's more medicinal.
It is. To be honest, I know a woman who sells. She was a businesswoman, a truly like a big businesswoman. In her house, she doesn't eat anything other than local rice. Ask her, she says she doesn't know how to eat foreign rice. She has it, but she doesn't eat it. But he mentioned something like, if you want to eat like a Dangote child, then you should know that you're doing the wrong thing. And then there are people who are actually even having it, but they are not even using it that way. And you who is not even having it, you just want the best. You want the best. Everybody wants the best. But what if you cannot afford the best? We should settle. I'm not saying we should settle on less, but for the meantime,
we should settle for less, but say that it is.
You're saying that we should settle for less.
For less, then you come. You show that you stood to conquer. Why it was expensive? Why the people are responsible for it? Because the foreign rice that came, they want to smash the prices of the local rice, and they brought it in with the intention of ensuring that the prices of our own, because so people say so foreign rice are even cheaper, and it's a game. So people went back to start buying foreign rice. They start running at loss, so the quality start dropping. So we have to choose what we want. That the Nigeria will be great. I don't want to play a role in it. We are deceiving ourselves. The people has a clear role to play. It's a shared responsibility. Just like the question of labor. Labor cannot be talking about welfare of labor, and they don't have a role to play. You don't want to talk to manufacturers about what is the actual price, the essential things of life are. It's the duty of labor to do that before you don't come to the government. So it's a shared responsibility. It's very, very important to get this point. And when it comes to this, you see Nigeria combating you. That's how America became great.
So people play to the question that, do you think that the Labour Congress are fighting the cause of the people?
They are not. There used to be Labour and civil society coalition. We pulled out. The civil society had to pull out. I'm a member of JAC, Joint Action Forum. We were together in the days of Oshomole. But it's always about price increase. I mean, salary increase. And I said, tabulate all the time that salaries are increased in Nigeria. From 10 naira to 15 naira. On what occasion did the salary
of commodities
comes down? The price of made mentions of the salary in 1 or 2 months. And we said, see, this is the angle to it. They said they don't want to go to the angle where you must take part in price control. House Strength, Landlord Association of Nigeria, sit them down that we are in this together. What is the price for a minimum person to survive in Nigeria? 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. It's compulsory for them to bring that. It must be universal. People don't feel free. It's the right or it's the duty of labor. Having done that with the Manufacturing Association, Price Control Agency, then you can then begin to discuss about salary. There was a befitting salary. Transport owners in Lagos, it should be universal. Anybody that's going from here to Abuja, the price should be controlled. For luxurious, it's the duty of labor to do that. So you don't want to play a role. And the government also is also arguing for the position of weakness. Government just want to, they keep quiet, people keep hipping it on them, the people will hip it on you. You don't have the courage to say that, yes, this is my responsibility, but that is your own responsibility too. As a people. You must do this, if you say don't eat foreign rights again, you must support us. Don't start talking about, people, Souths are getting demolished. But 3 months earlier, they were condemning Lagos State government that people build on canals. You didn't do anything about them because they have influence. But today they are doing the needful. They say, is it the time we should be demolishing people when the economy is bad? So, what kind of people are we? So government has substantial role to play. But as little as it is, that role that we must play as a people is so significant that if you don't play it, the government's role will make no sense of it, and it's not going to make an impact.
So what would be your last words before we go?
Well, it's what we've been saying that there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, but we should understand
that is it not wickedness that the light has to be at the end of the tunnel?
When they were taking the light, we were watching. That's the point. When the country gets getting decimated, we were watching. From the 60s to this one, people across the watch. In the 80s, I started in my struggle in 1989. We were making noise that the political structure in this country cannot guarantee us prosperity. Nobody wants to listen to us. So they took the light away. And they were taking it away to the end of the tunnel. So we were kept quiet. So we must reach for the light now. In fact, there's no light at the moment. The light will start showing, in my own estimation, in the next 2 years. And we must brace up for it. There's no magic the government today will perform. I am not the spokesperson, but because they lack the courage, we must speak out. Now look at it from all basis of assessment. We can't be out of this in 6 months. It's going to be a 2-year program, gestation period. Let's prepare our mind for this. Don't let us be needlessly agitated. Let's brace up for it. And that's my parting shot.
All right. Mariam, what do you have to say?
I'm telling you, Tante, today that you should be patriotic enough, to follow up on some of the government policies and adhere strictly to some rules and regulations that will help, foster development in Nigeria. My name is Miriam, okay? Thank you, you look beautiful.
Thank you very much, Mariam. You look beautiful yourself.
Thank you.
And from me to you, I would say, just as Mr. Olukoba has said, it is a joint force. If we want to make Nigeria work, we have to come together and make sure we know clearly what our responsibilities are so that we can achieve the desired Nigeria we want. It is not all about sitting down talking and asking what the government has been doing. What have you been doing yourself to make Nigeria a better Nigeria? Mariam has said it, that I should go out being a patriotic person. I hope you also will go out to be a patriotic person. Happy Friday. It is Friday. I hope you enjoy your weekend and we'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.